first, the tripling of the bank's capital to just shy of $100 billion US. Second, the election of the president of the African Development Bank, which happens once in every 5 years. Third, we have the general election of the executive directors. These are the members of an 18-member board that represents the 77 shareholders of the African Development Bank. And fourth, there is a very important proposal before the shareholders of the bank, and this is a proposal to enlarge the 18-member board to 20, adding one more seat for African shareholders and another seat for non-African shareholders.
Sure. So those are important issues. Let's begin by looking at the issue of the general capital increase to almost, as you said, shy of $100 billion. Yes. What difference will that make?
What difference will that make? It really ensures, I would say, for the next 10 years, an assured $50 billion US coming into the continent of Africa. This is the key difference that it will make. Second, we have seen an evolution in our operations. We've seen an increase in our private sector interventions, and with this general capital increase, we believe we'll be able to do even more private sector transactions in low-income countries as well as fragile states.
Another important issue, of course, is the replenishment of the African Development Fund, taking more and more heightened importance this year because of the state of the global economy and, of course, the issues that affect the developing countries who are the developed countries who are the donor nations.
Yes.
How difficult will it be to get those funds?
Well, I think that the negotiations are, and sometimes I wonder if I should call them negotiations,
sure,
because there's one side, you have people that are committed to the development of Africa. So the Friends of Africa, or the donors that are part of those discussions, are fully committed, and what they are focusing on is how best to use the resources on the continent. So I think, given the commitment we have seen, it would be a successful discussion. Yes, the outcome will be successful.
Sure. One of the issues I saw is there's a workshop on the role of women in fragile states. Now, as we know, Africa has many of those states. And also, I want to tie up that question with your role as the first Secretary General of the African Development Bank, who's a woman. Let's begin with the issue of the role of women in fragile states. How difficult is it to get them in there, and what role do you think they should play?
The role we think women should play in fragile states is that, first, there shouldn't be any exclusion. When you start excluding, it diminishes. And these women suffer through the fragility of the countries,
sure, and
they are part of the solutions. So it is important that decision-making does not exclude these women who have suffered, particularly when you're talking about post-conflict countries.
Sure.
And they are part of the solutions. Any economic breakthrough, any economic development cannot exclude the women. And these are the issues we would like to highlight.
And your role in the ADB?
My role in the ADB, first, I think the appointment is a key signal that there is no position that only men, or that is exclusive to men. I think every position is open, whether for a man or a woman. It's about performance, and it's really about performance. I think my appointment is going to encourage the women in the bank, as well as women on the continent,